many aviation elements, pilots and flying ideas can you cram into a 1-minute video? Let's find out. Birdman.team is a Ukrainian crew including aerobatic pilots, hot air balloonists, skydivers and even more. They record their stunt ideas using sport cameras, drones or whatever else they can find to get that extra shot. And yes, it looks pretty cool. I think this is a great way to begin another Air Sports News episode. I'm your host REGAN TETLOW, coming to you this week from Warsaw in Poland before I head right back very shortly over the Atlantic. We've got a packed show of great content, so let's get into it. So just a few weeks ago, Richard Branson and his Virgin Galactic spaceship also claimed a world record, or maybe even a galactic record, taking passengers for the first time on a commercial spaceflight. But unfortunately, after the huge success, the American Federation of Aviation Administration grounded his aircraft. The main reason of this decision is over-course deviation on Branson's flight. Virgin Galactic says nobody was in any danger, including its founder and CEO, Sir Richard Branson, and the 3 other passengers aboard the landmark July the 11th flight of its Unity spacecraft, despite an FAA probe into the flight. The agency announced on Thursday that it was banning any further attempts until it completes an investigation into the highly publicised flight, which the spacecraft deviated from its planned course, and the deviation, which lasted 1 minute and 41 seconds, reportedly could have put Unity out of reach of the safe landing back to the company's spaceport in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Virgin Galactic admits the deviation occurred, but says it was all handled probably by the crew. Now this news is quite interesting because we don't really have any details about it, only the video, but I think it's enough to show because it may be another world record, this time in the base jumping category. Unknown base jumpers in an undescribed location decided to do a base jump into a huge cave, but through the tiny hole in the rock. The only thing we do know is that the author of the video is Casper Kumpumlian, who releases a lot of stunt base jump videos, most of them at the extreme end of the scale. Alright, this week's special guest is a retired Army Ranger, a military free-fall jumpmaster, world-class competitor and a coach in canopy piloting. In addition to having a background in testing canopies as a research and development jumper, his experience gives him an extensive knowledge base in parachutes and in canopy flight performance. Let's catch up with Greg Windmiller. We've got all your army, we've got all your competition, we've got all your training and so forth. Let's go all the way back to you, just a wee lad. Tell me about where you were in school and what you were doing.
I grew up, I was born in Germany. My father was in the military. We grew up in Missouri most of my life. And I was very outdoorsy. This back in the day when we'd get up on a Saturday morning and I'd get on my bicycle with my best friend. We'd ride about 2 miles down the road and go to a creek, park our bicycles and walk like a mile or 2 up the creek. And then come back and we'd get back to the house after dark, you know, and like parents didn't care where their kids were at because they knew their kids were safe. And so we grew up in a small town in Missouri that was very family oriented and very just outdoorsy and things. We didn't have electronics and computers and all this crazy stuff. And when I grew up, I knew I wanted to do something action based. I wanted to be like, I wanted to be a stunt man at one point, and I wanted to be a police officer at one point. And then but I used to tell people jokingly my story, and my story was when you're trying to connect with the younger crowd or whatever while I was in the military. And I said almost every single young boy growing up had the same toy, and every single young boy growing up had that little bitty green army man. Yeah. And there's like these little, they get a bag of them, and there's little army men or whatever, and everybody had their favorite. There's one kneeling shooting, and there's one talking on the radio. Nobody liked the guy talking on the radio because he was boring. But you had all these, like everybody had this little green army man, and I always thought like that would be cool to be one of those. My father was in the military, and I just always So like from as long as I can remember, that was one of my things I wanted to do. You know, everybody wants to do everything in the world. I want to be a cook. I want to do this. But I've always wanted to be in the military, and so that's what I had planned to do.
And as always, you can catch the whole half-hour interview with Greg on our Air Sports Promotion YouTube channel. It's really worth a watch. Go and check it out after the show. Mario Kiesling made a spectacular comeback after falling away from the leading pack to beat Sebastian Carver across the line for his third day win of the grand finale FEI Sailplane Grand Prix in Saint-Aubin in France. Now with 30 Grand Prix points, Super Mario is 9 points ahead of Carver. This is unofficial. With 4 more race days to go, Mario is having a great competition, but Carver made a determined bid for the first place today and has a bit between his teeth. Stay tuned for more exciting racing tomorrow. The day before, in a fast race in excellent mounting thermal conditions to 2,700 meters, Mario Kiesling from Germany finds his own path to beat the competition to win a first place win on day 2 of the SGP at Saint-Aubin. Maximilien Says from France crosses the line second, followed by fellow Frenchman Christophe Abadi in third place to gain valuable SGP points. Right now, we're also in the middle of the first European Intermediate Aerobatic Championships in Diva, Romania. Let's find out who's on the lead. 20 pilots from Russia, Hungary, Poland, Great Britain, Romania, Ukraine and Germany are competing in the official tasks. After the first day, Ivan Barsov from Russia was in the lead, winning with the Romanian pilot Dan Stevestru and Russian teammate Pavel Bravov. But after the second competition, the free unknown program, another Russian pilot, Alexander Vasilev, earned more of the points, and Barsov was the second. The final results will be available on Friday, so stay tuned. Dallas Drone Racing is a Tier 1 chapter of the MotoGP, providing race events to the public in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. This one-of-a-kind event is just the beginning of a long-range championships event. Next one will begin next Thursday in Indiana, but so far, let's see how Alex Vanova took the extremely hard racetracks in Dallas. When pilots say dogfighting, we're always thinking about the war style of fighting between airplanes. But how about dogfighting in the world of aeromodelling and without engines? American aeromodelling designer and pilot John Woodfield, together with his friends, designed a special fast glider with a lightweight wooden and composite elements to perform a one-of-a-kind dogfighting scene on a ridge. Gliders are fast but also very light, so they can collide with each other without significant damage, and it's very entertaining too. Joby Aviation has announced that it will be working with NASA to study the acoustic signature of all its electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. The test, which will be part of NASA's Advanced Air Mobility National Campaign, will use NASA's Mobile Acoustics Facility and more than 50 pressure ground plate microphones to capture the intensity and the character of the sound emitted in comparison to helicopters, drones and other aircraft. Joby Air Taxi vehicle will have a range of 150 miles, top speed of 200 miles per hour and be capable of carrying a pilot and 4 passengers. The company reports that more than 1,000 flight tests have been completed to date. Joby is aiming to have the aircraft certified by 2023, with plans to launch a commercial passenger service at the beginning of 2024. Okay, let's get to our Hall of Fame section. On the 6th of September 1919, Rudolf William Schroeder, chief test pilot of the engineering division, flew a Packard Leopard biplane to beat 2 FEI world records, reaching an altitude of 8,616 meters. The biplane was powered by a turbo-supercharged liquid-cooled V12 engine, which produced 449 horsepower. On the 7th of September 1931, Lowell Richard Bales won the 1931 Thompson Trophy race, flying the GB Model Z Super Sportster named City of Springfield. The racer was painted black and yellow and carried the race number 4 on its wings and fuselage. The air racer had qualified for the race with a two-way average speed of 267.342 miles per hour. Rail's average speed for the 10-lap pylon race was 236.239 miles per hour. On the 7th of September 1929, Henry Richard Damis Waghorn, a pilot for the Royal Air Force high-speed flight based at RAF Calshot, flew a Supermarine S6 aircraft to win the Snyder Cup race. The race was the 11th in the series of annual or semi-annual races which were first held in 1913, specifically for seaplanes. Teams from several nations, France, Great Britain, Italy and the United States, competed with float-equipped airplanes built specifically for the race. The national team, which won 3 consecutive races, would win the series and take home the trophy. On the 7th of September 1927, Clyde Vernon Cessna and Victor Herbert Roos formed the Cessna Roos Airplane Company in Wichita, Kansas. Roos soon sold his interest to Cessna and the company became the Cessna Aircraft Company. The company's first airplane was the Cessna Model A, a 4-place single-engine high-wing cabin monoplane with fixed landing gear. The Cessna Textron Company is one of the most recognizable aircraft manufacturers on the planet. Okay guys, that's it for this week's show, and this is my third and last recording from Poland for now. I'm heading back to Canada very shortly, from where I'll be bringing you the next week's show, with another episode of course. But before that, let's watch this amazing FPV drone footage of the 14kg Extra 300 radio controlled model. It can't get closer, so remember, as always, stay safe and keep your eyes on the skies.